Of the inaugural class of the Magic Hall of Fame, with Pat Williams and Nick Anderson being in our inaugural class, and we're honored to recognize them for their contributions to the Orlando Magic.
Well, Alex, to see the emotion from Nick and hear Pat say this is one of the highest honors, I mean, they really cherish this. So how special is that for you to hear?
Well, for me, growing up as a young man in this organization, Pat Williams and Nick Anderson are the Orlando Magic. They're two of the foundational pieces that this franchise was built upon. And if it weren't for both of them, both from Pat's standpoint of gaining the approval to have the franchise join the NBA, and from Nick's standpoint of being that initial first draft pick and member of that first team, taking us to the NBA Finals, we wouldn't have gotten started in this journey to 25 years to date. So I think it's just quite fitting that they're the first two members to enter into this new Hall of Fame.
How did the idea of a Magic Hall of Fame come about?
For the last couple of years, we've really been focused on trying to embrace our former players in particular and our history. And I think we came to a natural intersection here at the 25-year anniversary of the team to do something beyond just recognizing, as we have at the games, those who have made contributions to the team. We wanted to do something permanent. We wanted to do something that would last throughout all time, so that at our 50-year anniversary, fans can come here and learn about Nick Anderson and Pat Williams, who started the franchise 50 years prior. So we really wanted something that would, stand through time, to recognize those who have helped to make this franchise what it is.
Will you continue to induct two people a year, or will it rise?
That's up to the committee. I think the committee will be given the license, to do what they think is appropriate in a given year. So, one year it might be one, another year it may be three. We'll leave that up to the committee. I think it's important that we give them the ability, with their history in the organization, to be able to determine who is befitting of being here, for the rest of time in our Hall of Fame.
Is the committee similar to the committee that decides the Legends Night honorees as well?
No, the Legends Night honorees was a different group of people,
Okay.
Primarily working with our game entertainment staff and our public relations staff to determine who we would bring in honor. But we chose a group of individuals to serve on this Hall of Fame committee primarily through longevity with the organization, those that have that perspective of time. For someone who's only been here 3 or 4 years, they may not understand the impact that Nick Anderson had on this organization. And similarly, they might not have the same kind of understanding of someone else that may come up for nomination. So I think having staff people who've been with us for a long time participate in that, I think, is an important element to give that perspective of history and time.
I'm so pleased that you've been with the whole 25-year anniversary celebration. The bringing back of the players, it seems like it's gone over exceptionally well.
It's exceeded every expectation that we could have ever hoped for. I think when you envision something like this and you plan and you talk to the individuals about it, look, there was some trepidation on some of our former players' parts about coming back and how they would be received. And to stand up there on opening night and see the emotion on Tracy McGrady's face, and the emotion that Penny Hardaway had when he was at center court that night, and both of them, in addition to others, said to me, I didn't know what the reception was going to be like. Mm-hmm. So I think it's exceeded all of our expectations. I'm gratified to see that our fans really embrace our history and embrace our former players, and that's what great organizations are all about. Look, professional sports, one of the elements that is always going to happen is that players are going to come and go for various different reasons. There's free agency, there's injury, there's trades, what have you. But I think it's important that you embrace and recognize your history and those that have made the contributions to get you where you're at. Mm-hmm. And so that was the premise by which we decided to formulate our recognition, throughout the year of various players, and it really is the foundation under which we came to this conclusion of a permanent recognition of those who have made a meaningful and historical impact on the franchise.
When did the committee finalize the decision to induct Nick and Pat, and for future classes, what type of timetable do you have as far as finalizing them in the future?
Well, the selections were made some 6 to 8 weeks ago now, and I think when you make the kind of physical representation that we have here, you need some time to have those things built, etc. I would envision that this time of year, will probably be the time of year that we would focus on to induct new members into the Hall of Fame. But I think we'll be flexible too. I mean, obviously, people's travel schedules, and if someone's coming from out of town, and if they're involved in some other profession, will dictate, when we make these announcements. But I would think that, this would typically be the time of year that we would be focused on.
Okay. Thank you very much.